And blessings. And welcome to the Soul Logistic Radio Show, Monday morning quarterback. I'm your host, Doug Gevins, the unknown icon. A few people call me Hannibal Smith. Got the minister of information, the straw, the stir, the drink, the movie critic. Fat Tom, what's popping, yo?
What's going on, Doug Evans? What's happening?
Hey man, let's get
So,
right. Let's get right to it. First of all, hey man, Daniel Jones has a torn Achilles. He's out. The Colts, I thought the Colts was going to do pretty well. They done, so we can move on from them. All right.
all right.
You think the
Well,
Colts?
uh,
Uh,
I had
Kevin,
a go ahead.
Kevin Stefanski. Hey, listen, man. It getting to a point now that I think somebody trying to lose on purpose or shaving points or something. I'm serious. This is getting ridiculous. When you got Pro Bowl NFL players scratching their head about the causes being made. Some's not right. As my folks would say, something in the milk is not clean.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I think that it really is incompetence. I used to think I was heavy on the. He wouldn't say the young man's name, so that's problematic. You trying to keep him from getting touchdowns clearly, because each time it's touchdown time. Look, you ran the Wildcat and it was working. It worked until you got till Tennessee came to town. They said we didn't seen this 3 times. You ran it, they shut it down. Then
Because we watched tape, right? Because
right, that's what the teams do. So
that was a good
then
coach. That was a good coach does. Okay.
then you try to have a rookie running back throw it to a rookie receiver who just dropped a punt last week to cost us the game, and this week he dropped it and had to jump on it. Like just right before that, the ball came, hit him right in the chest. It was on the ground. He had to dive on it. That means he can't. Only reason why he out there catching because can't nobody else catch. Like we don't have nobody else to field it because literally he's dropped a punt now every game for the last like it's his thing. So why would you do that when the game is on the line? But listen, I will say it's the best thing that ever could have happened
Mm.
because check this out. Shador balled out. Man threw 3 touchdowns, rushed one, over 300 yards. No rookie since Jeff Burrow has done this. Like he the only one in since they've been keeping stats is just him
Joe
and Jeff
Burrow.
Burrow, Joe Burrow that did what he did. Right. So right there. Now everybody in the world is saying the play calling. The man drove the ball 96 yards, and your bright idea is to take that person out of the game and put 2 rookies in on a trick play that
That's crazy enough, but I didn't watch the whole game because I was stressed out watching my game.
right.
But is it true that you guys did he go for a two when you could have just been down by 7? Like,
Yes, he
did that
went for
happen? Because
he
that's
went
that's
for
the reason
two.
that's the reason you had to go for two the second time, right?
Yes, he went for two when he should have just kicked the field goal. Bruh, these the coaching decisions. So listen, you get to fire the coach, and it's wonderful because they're saying now we definitely got a good first round pick, right? So this is why it's great. We have an excellent first round pick, right? Because if it comes to the odds, we lost to Tennessee and we lost to the Jets. So we in perfect shape
But
to get a
but do
good
that
pick.
do that do that make the other teams do that make the analysts and people that's supposed to be so great? If Shador, that might be the reason. If Shador is playing this well and he dropped that far in the draft, do that make it seem like these guys is not as intelligent as we thought? Is that
No,
is that
well,
what it is?
listen. This is the thing right here. It shows you that the media controls agendas. That it's a clear example of them pushing an agenda. Here's the narrative. I listen to Ocho, right? I told you I don't like him, right? Ocho. I told you that I always hate his takes. He been a hater on Shador the whole year. Now,
Not just Shador, but go ahead.
then he comes today with he's the greatest quarterback ever. You should see his he did a whole breakdown of Shador's film immediately following the game. And literally, it made me think, out of here. Why is you even over here? Why is you doing that? And then listen to the take though. This is what is really poisonous. So his take of the game was Shador did an amazing catch, but this is what Shador's problem is. He has a great play, then he muffs the next play. So his next thing was the snap came, he fumbled the snap on a 2-point conversion. Okay? So we went for two the first time, the snap never happened. Everybody in the world said the center got to put the ball in the quarterback's hand, but Shador said that's on me. Boom. I ain't get the snap. It is what it is. So they blamed him for that. Then he said he did a wonderful play and then threw an interception. Okay. Now I agree he had 5 seconds out there. Like I don't know why he didn't just throw the ball away. Like to me, like it's been an hour and 15 minutes. He was running around forever. And then he threw the ball to the dude. Like you playing too well to do that. Throw the ball away. But then he said, I saw that. I got it. Yeah, I should just throw that away. I ain't worried about that. That's all stuff. He on his third game in the NFL, bro. What are
Right.
y'all talking about? He on his third game. So I'm
But
not even
but back
tripping on.
back to your point about the media. Do you see what the media is trying to do to George Pickens now? Do you see when Dallas lost, how they just jumped on George Pickens like he was the biggest? The media is crazy. Like for 3 games straight, he held the whole team down. CeeDee Lamb goes out. It's on him. They say he's a little hurt. Now, everybody, same old George Pickens. Like, I watched the game. I'm trying to say, what did he do so bad? The
The
media
whole deal,
is insane, bro.
they paint a picture and that's who you are. That's what makes everything so dangerous now. Because now really they can make you out to be something. You're
I
not.
mean,
Because
if you
yes,
listen
because
to him,
all the people, when I found this out, right? I found out that Cleveland doesn't allow reporters to watch their practices, right? So all season, when everybody's reporting that he's not ready and he's not good in practice and this and that and the other, never saw him. They were just going by what the publicity person comes out from the field and says, this is their statement, and then they all report that. So I'm going, they're not even watching them play. And then none of them saw him play. Like if you ain't see the games in Colorado, how can you talk about a quarterback? Like how you gonna sit up there and say a player is good or bad? You going by what everyone else said. And I went, because you're
well,
not even going by the stats, because he was the
Fat
highest
Tommy,
percentage
Fat,
passer. Like
hey, Fat Tommy, y'all 3-10. We're not gonna spend the whole 30 minutes talking about a 3-10
I
team.
agree wholeheartedly.
The Steelers, by the way, is 7-6 and leading the division. We just knocked off your Baltimore Ravens.
So I told you he wasn't good in life. I have a question though for you, Doug Evans. I
What
was
up?
talking to my brother-in-law, and we were discussing Pittsburgh, and I said, "Well, Steeler Nation." He's saying you can't fire a guy like Mike Tomlin. That's what my brother-in-law said. I said, "But people that's in Steeler Nation is saying, you got to get rid of him." He said, "But the man has had a winning season." So, Doug, what does Mike Tomlin have to do this year to convince you he should be the coach next year? What would you have to see?
I hate to always put this in like a relationship type deal, right? It's
Okay.
almost like if your girlfriend been cheating on you and not doing what, and then she come ask you, she been cheating on you for 10 years, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden she come and ask you, what can I do to get back in your what can I do to get back in your good graces? I'm like, you've been cheating on me for 10 years. I mean, like, I don't know what you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, to win the Super Bowl? Uh, how about that? How listen, tell the guy, hey, tell the guy, how about get to the AFC championship game? How about that?
Okay.
How about
That
that?
if he got to the
Now,
AFC
here,
Championship game,
but here's the
you
thing.
would not
Ask
call
this
for his job.
now, ask this guy if he lose in the first round again, what is this guy going? What is it? What is it going? I'm giving you my answer now.
Okay.
Ask him what would it take for you to say, let's get rid of him.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
That's fair. Because you know what? I used to be over there with them until I rooted with the Steelers. I moved. I told this is the good thing about changing teams. See, because you learn a lot about football. Remember, listen, I was a Redskins fan. Then I went over and got down with Baltimore and really followed Lamar and said, he ain't that dude. He keep losing at the wrong time. And at the beginning of the season, what did I say? I'm going to rock with Baltimore, but if he lose in the playoffs, I'm done. He lost in the playoffs in the first round. Guess what I did? I left. I said when Shador come out of college, I'm gonna follow him. But before that, I went to Pittsburgh. I
Yeah.
came over to Pittsburgh and I said, Doug, my first team when I was in high school was the Steelers when I was in Connecticut. That was my team when I was a kid. I'm gonna come back to Steeler Nation. I listened and Doug said, okay. So that year they was doing awesome. I think it was like 8-1. I was like, oh, Junk Doug, we got the best team ever. And Doug said, listen, I've been a Steeler fan for a long time. We start off like this. You got to pace yourself. You got to pace yourself. I said, but everybody's saying he hasn't had a losing season. And Doug said, yes, but that's the regular season. We're talking about the playoffs. There's a thing called the playoffs that you have to win in. That's when it matters. Like, you know how basketball has tournaments after the regular season? We do
But
that in
hold
football.
on. I don't understand when the guy said he had Mike McCarthy that used to coach for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
He's in the street right now.
Yeah, I know Mike McCarthy. Yep.
Put up his record with Mike Tomlin. They got the same exact record.
See,
He's in
but
the
you know
street.
what? Here's the difference. The difference is the owners of the Steelers are older family that believe in loyalty and the person they riding with.
They old
So he gonna
fashioned. They old
yeah, he
fashioned.
gonna have right. He has, you know what? This is what I learned. They did a study and said that people that grew up in the 70s, we were a different generation because we were the last ones who could be told to leave and not be home till dark. So it taught us how to make decisions. It taught us to know good people. Look, they said we learned about good people from bad people because we was out there meeting people and we had to instantly know whether we were in a good situation or a bad situation. They said creativity and problem solving. They said we couldn't pick up the phone and call our parents every time we had a problem. We figured it out. And so they said we the last
You
of
would
that
you would you
generation.
would get on your bike and ride out and don't come back to the street lights come on. Your mother don't even know where you've been.
Get a flat 5 miles from the house with no money in your pocket and learn how to. You know you can patch a tire. That's what the big. You know you can patch that, right? Hey, so you talking about all of that we knew on the fly, and they said it made us. We now they have structured right after us. The next generation has structured games, like from school to clubs to after school activities. Everything they did was very structured, and then came the cell phones and the pagers and all of that. But yeah,
So you
so
saying we're not built, but it comes a point where enough is enough. And
so Doug, wait. If I was the coach of your team, Doug, for 20 years, and every year we beat everybody in our division and we won and we made it to the playoffs, but we lost in the playoffs every year. 20 years it's going. Me and you, we grew up together. You know, we lived in the acres. We like, yeah, Doug, and we struggled and I got us there, and so I got the team there and we won 2 Super Bowls. Year 21, right?
you're not making it 21 years, bro.
How many years before you say, I know you my homie, but
Because
man.
because to me, loyalty is not I'm not just have to be
Well,
loyal to
actually, you know
you.
what? I would know. Because if we friends and we ain't one, I'd be like, man,
Right,
you're going to have to get somebody else.
right. That's
You're going
what
to have to get somebody, it's time for you.
that's what should that's
I
what
ain't been.
should happen. What happens about being loyal to my fan base who's paying for these tickets? We're not here just to win one playoff game. We're here to try to win the Super Bowl. That's the mission. If your mission is just to not never have a losing record, well, you need to go to Chicago or somewhere like that,
Do
the
you think
Jets or
that's his
somewhere like that.
mission? Do you think his mission? I would think that Tomlin is doing every. See that's what I'm really beginning to believe. Listen, I'm really believing that these coaches believe what they doing is right.
Right.
Like
And it's
Stefanski
up,
thinks that
right.
play he called was the right play.
And
Tomlin
right.
thinks
So it's up for us to let them know, no, that wasn't right. No, that wasn't right. And the
okay.
same way that if I was a quarterback and I throw a lot of interceptions and I said I thought that was the right pass, and you get benched. It was like, no, that wasn't the right pass. That's why you're on the bench. You see how that
Right.
works?
Okay. Yes, I got you.
That's
Well, the
how it
one
works.
thing the one thing that I said, and I'm gonna stick to, I don't ever have to talk about Shador anymore because he's playing. So I will allow the tape and the stats to do the talking. I don't
We
have to say
can,
anything.
we can, we can acknowledge his play. We're just not gonna spend a whole lot of
We don't.
time
We
because
don't have to.
you guys
Listen,
not, you guys is not
we,
winning.
we don't
You
have
know what
to.
I
We
mean?
don't have to worry about. Look, I don't have to speak on the legend. The legend is gonna happen. It is what it is. You
Legend.
know what I'm saying? I don't have to talk on it. You know
Legend.
what? There is one quote I would like to quote. He said that you have to be. He's gotten comfortable at being uncomfortable because they asked him what he felt like when they make plays or whatever. He said he's gotten comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's what a lot of people have to do. You know what? One could say Mike Tomlin has gotten comfortable
Yeah.
being
And listen, we got the sorry Miami Dolphins this Sunday. Okay.
okay.
Now
If is it in Miami?
it's in Pittsburgh.
Okay, if y'all lose to Miami,
It's
I was gonna say
probably,
if it was in Miami, could he catch the plane home? But it's in. Look, he lost to the Titans, and they saying he should have been fired this morning. They saying he shouldn't be at the 1 o'clock press conference. That's what people in Cleveland say. He shouldn't be at the 1 o'clock press conference today. We should be hearing that he's fired.
here's a thing that had me scratch my head. You got a rookie quarterback. We back on Cleveland again. We back on Cleveland.
Okay.
But shouldn't you want to see everything Shador has to do? You want to put him in every situation to see what he could do. You know, can this kid bring us back? Can this kid lead us to a victory? But the coach stepped in and messed that up with these dumb play calling.
See, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand how. If listen, I would have just went out there on the. What if he just walk out there on the field and say, "Man, get your ass off
You
this
can't,
field."
you can't
See,
do
he
that.
can't.
But
What you think Terry Bradshaw would have did?
mm,
You
it was
don't think?
once
Wait,
again, that was a different era.
but my question
Hey,
is,
what's my name, man? My man name from Chicago, Jim McMahon. Jim
yes,
McMahon, I don't
he
care.
would have definitely. Jim McMahon would have definitely walked out on the field and said, "Get your ass off this field. We not
Hey,
doing
look,
that."
and he had Mike Dick as a coach, and he don't play. But Jim McMahon had that energy. Like, listen, I'm the one
Yes.
out here, man. I'm switching the plays. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
That was my guy. He would call. He wouldn't. He ain't care what play you. You was wasting your time on the sideline doing this because
Yeah, he
he
look
was
at
getting
you
ready to
like
do
this.
whatever. But you know what? When it's working, that's what I'm saying. The way he brought the ball down the field, I would have waved him off. Get out of here. We ain't.
Right.
Yo, look, we going right here. I would have called the play on the line, and we could have argued about it tomorrow. But if he wins the game,
Because with the rate he's going with Shador, the off season, y'all still gonna be like, do we got a quarterback or we don't got
nah,
a
you know
quarterback?
what? No, I don't think so. Because listen,
Deshaun
I've been
Watson
listening
should
to
be coming
Cleveland
back.
radio.
Deshaun
Yeah,
Watson is coming back.
no, listen, I've been listening to the radio, and that's what they have all shifted now. 3 weeks ago, everybody in Cleveland was still on that. No way, I'll cut my right foot off before he plays. Now here's the new talk. The new narrative is I could see Shador being our quarterback and Deshaun being the veteran, which I told you was going to end up happening. Yes, going down like that, and
You
Gabriel
know,
going to be the number
you know
three.
how much money they paying that guy?
That's why, yes, and he's going to be the veteran on it. That it'll cost them $80 million to
If you
trade
would
him. They
hold on, Matt Tommy. Now put you in an executive role. If you
okay.
was paying somebody $250 million,
Yeah, they say 80 million to get rid of him. If I get rid of him, I can't even afford to have an offense. I can't field the team, so he got to play next year. Yes, I see it this way. Yes, he's gonna play next year.
look,
Absolutely.
right? Because your wife, when you writing the check, your wife said, you how much you paying Deshaun White? He's on the bench. Oh yeah,
No,
because Shador. They were like, you crazy?
no, no, no. This is what I would do if I was the owner for real. I would have a real competition in the preseason, and I would find out who I'm going with. I'm going with the best. First of all,
Yeah.
I'm going with Shador only because let me tell you the number one reason I'm going with Shador since it's a business decision. I would have been went with him because he's the most Googleable athlete in the world, number 3 in the world. Okay, number 3 in the world for Google. I mean, number 5 in the world for Google people, number 1 in the world for most Googled athlete.
Well,
So
maybe you can get him to sign a 360 deal and you get some of your money back or something like that.
that's why they mad. They're mad because he has a prime equity deal. So he cut a deal with them. They gave him ownership of his name and likeness and image. So all the YouTube and all that stuff is his. And if he leads the team in Google like research like he's doing, he get a percentage of all the merch sold in the building.
Okay.
So forget all of that. But look, we got to talk about Philadelphia blowing it. How about
Who?
Philadelphia's look like they going in the wrong direction?
Philly. They
That
play tonight,
the
right?
yes, the Dallas Cow boys have just ruined it. Like they just fell all the way out the system. Like, so do you keep Dak Prescott? Do you keep the coach of Dallas? Like, what happens?
He's a
This man,
he's this is first year in Dallas.
yeah,
And
and look,
listen,
and nothing's
and listen,
changed.
this is first year in Dallas, and they looking better than they've looked in a while, if you ask me.
They look exactly the same. Great
Well,
in the
they gave
great.
up their number one defensive player, and I'm telling you, before they ran into the buzzsaw, and listen, they played Detroit pretty well.
That's not the same.
Listen,
So you talking
hold
like
on.
so you talking about people that's not in Pittsburgh. What do
No,
you
no,
think they
listen,
saying
no,
in
listen,
Dallas?
no,
In
listen,
Dallas,
listen, hold on.
like,
Listen, CD Lamb left the game, okay?
yeah,
So
yeah,
their number one receiver left the
yes.
game. Okay. They was going
And then according to the press, Pickens blew it.
right. According right.
Go ahead, continue with your narrative. I want go ahead, continue with your because this gonna be
Right.
totally opposite what the rest of the world is saying. So continue.
Right. What I'm saying, I'm watching the game. I'm watching this unfold. I got Pickens on my fan dude. So of course he need like two more catches and I can win some money. He didn't get it. So yeah, I could dump on him if I want to. But when I'm looking at when CeeDee Lamb left the game, they still was they was fighting. I see fighting the guys. That's what I in the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. They were like six, they like 6-6-1. I mean,
Right. And they kept
shoot.
playing.
So anyway, I want to ask you about this whole Puff Daddy thing, man. I had to ask you about this. Man, what do you feel? How you feel about 50 Cent being a part of this? Knowing 50 Cent history, how he came about fame and like his projects. He got BMF, he got Power. He all his material has something to do with negative street life. And
Uh-huh.
now it's like he on this moral code type thing on this Netflix documentary about P. Diddy. I want to know how you feel about that.
Um,
Cause he
well,
to
I
me,
watched that.
to me, it don't seem like he on no moral ground to be throwing stones at anybody, if you ask me.
I watched the whole documentary. All I think it's 4 episodes or 8 episodes. I don't know. I watched them all. Um, and this is what I will start with. I'll start with if you present some facts. Uh, does it matter that I'm a murderer? Just because that don't make it untrue. And what he did for the documentary, I thought it was a good just judging it as a documentary, I thought it was a well shot, well done documentary. Uh, he been trolling Puff, so I don't think I don't think it's about his moral compass because he telling Jay-Z he getting ready to put one out on him. So here's what's actually happening though. I asked myself, where'd he get that footage from? How did he get access to that footage? Right? Seems kind of strange to me that he got it. I believe that ultimately he's in the good old boys club and they are still battling Puff and they just threw his name on it to put him out front of the project because he's a troll and he would do it. They called him up and said, look, we're going to put a documentary out on him. We're going to put it out through you because that's how they do business. So I would bet that if we really tried to do the research, we would find out that they just called him in and let him be the face of the project. The same way they let athletes be the face of this and the face of that. So there's a definite battle still going on. And he chose to be on that side, which is just like 50 Cent. 50 would actually, that's who he is as a person. That's why I'm telling you, I wouldn't be shocked if Snoop did that. Like if they had one on Dr. Dre, right? And all of a sudden they were going to turn it out, I wouldn't be shocked if Snoop did it on Death Row. Like they are in a business that ultimately, if you want to keep rising, they have you taking each other out. They paint narratives because they got to make room for the next one they bringing up. So
Cause,
Puff got to a level
Cause
where the
Snoop,
only thing
Snoop going at it with his cousin Daz about publishing and stuff like that. Did you see that also?
I
Also,
did,
you know what's
I saw.
crazy? You know what I look at now? What's crazy is that I was talking to a friend. It's like when the nerds get the power, just like in the comic book world, Lex Luger. It's like when the nerds, some nerds, because nerds is the real winners, if you ask me, than street cats.
Right.
These street cats is disgusting. They do. You got street cats telling on the nerds. The street cats is mad at the nerds. I'm watching the documentary. I said, why is all these street cats? It's the nerd that took over. The nerd. Is that what
Well,
you?
Puff definitely was goofy. Even when he came in the industry back in the day, literally, I keep telling people if I go back to the memory, no one was messing with him. Biggie was the dude. He was up under Biggie all the time,
On
trying
a
to suck
podcast.
Biggie's light out. Like if you really want to remember what was going on at the time, he was trying to be up under Biggie. Biggie ain't really rock with him like that. Every time there was a party, he would come to Richmond. Puff would come down here. He was but a young lady who owned a beauty salon and would always come to the show. He had nothing to do with the show. He just wanted to be up under Biggie so that he could get the fame and the fortune. Like he had a plan and he executed it, at any cost. And yes, the nerds or the people like I was telling somebody this that when I was going in the industry, we didn't ever want to go to industry parties. Like the industry parties was a bunch of, weirdos. Really, when you're thinking about why you want to be at a party, listen, why would you want to be at a party with Clive Davis, Jimmy Iovine? What kind, we in hip hop. Do you think I care? Like
Right,
now
right,
they could come to my party where we at
right.
partying, they could come in and you'd walk them around and stuff, but they not getting ready to do that. So I never wanted to be in it for that. And the people that wanted to be in it for that got in it and did that. Like, and if you look around to me now
But when
with a
you
clear
see
mind,
stuff, when you see stuff like the guy that had the 25%, right? Now,
right?
Fat Tommy, you my brother, we cool. We start a business together, and I get 25%. And later down the road, you come in with guys with some bats talking about you want me to sign over the 25%, and you gonna give it back. First of all, I know you're not gonna give it back because you wouldn't have these guys with these bats. Nigga. That don't sound like somebody that's gonna give something back to me, right?
Right. Well,
What I'm saying is that it comes a point in your life, in every man's life, where he has a crossroad. He gotta. So I really don't feel sorry for this cat because now Rogers from Chic, uh, Sylvia Robinson, Bobby Robinson, tried to do him like that. We're gonna take your music, but now Rogers from Chic, who's not a gangster at all, said, "I'm not giving you jack. You got to do what you got to do." You know what I mean? So why should we feel sorry for this guy who just forked over his 25%? You know, I don't. This is it's the stuff about the documentary I'm watching, and I'm seeing these guys, these people that's crying later after the fact. You know what I mean? What they doing is feeding the monster.
well, listen. He not only did he do that, he didn't quit working.
Right. That's right.
So when I look, I say that all the time. I
That's
came from a
right.
general the same way. Babs said her lawyer told her she wasn't gonna make no money. She was gonna be famous, and I signed it. So Babs, no, and I said, see, there's no problem with that. She
Right.
knew at the end of the day, she ain't getting no money. All I could do is go out here, have fun, and ride with it, and figure out how to parlay that into some money.
So
That
so so you gonna tell me you put together this whole bad boy enterprise with him, and then you don't see what's about to happen? You see what I'm saying? Like she knew that. She went to her lawyer, like you said. Here's the facts. You're gonna be you either want to be wealthy or you want to be
well,
famous. You want to be
here's the
famous or you want to
here
be wealthy.
here's the real problem. Okay, let's really the parts that's not in the documentary. Here's what's not in the documentary. Bad Boy as a whole never turned a profit. Okay, as long as I was there, they never made money. It was always known that Bad Boy was a write-off for Arista, right? So Arista spends this money on Bad Boy and write all of it off, like as a loss. So Arista would write that off as a loss. So now, Bad Boy never generated enough money based on the money they spent on the projects. You understand? So they spent more money promoting and it never really recouped, but they had number one records because they were selling a lifestyle.
And they were spending the money
Clive
quickly.
Davis was using it as a write off. And ultimately, somewhere in there, it's a lot of money being washed because it's people spending money that they really shouldn't be on records that's not really making no money. You understand? So Biggie was number one, but let's say the album, let's say he went platinum. Or everything that Puff named was platinum singles. Okay? You have to keep that in mind. When he say Big Papa went platinum, that's a single. So really, that's only $1 million. You sold it was like $1.99. That was $2 million.
Right.
So that ain't really no big deal. Like $2 million to a record company is nothing. So when he stood up there, but on the stats on the paper, like when you're watching football, all of that it means something because he's the winningest coach. Look, he having a winning season.
You got another winning season,
Right.
10
And
years
so
straight.
listen, the way Puff was making money was he executive produced the videos and executive produced the album, and he paid himself. So he paid himself $1 million to shoot a video. The label, Arista, cuts him a check for $1 million. Is then charged to Biggie as an artist for his record. So Puff really made $1 million. He just got him $1 million because the label cut him a check to pay for the album. Biggie got to wait out till it recoups. So all his money is down the road,
It's tied
and it's
up.
not gonna happen because Puff is spending so much money as a company and charging it to the artists that they're never gonna recoup. That's why they said none of them got no money because there was no money. He spent it all and paid himself the money by executive producing. He'd executive produce the album. He'd executive produce the remix. So he'd do a remix and he pay himself $1 million to remix it. And that other artist is coming to him. He doing a remix for Mary J, so they got to give him 500,000. And he really wasn't doing nothing. But well, he was identifying singles and he was making good
And
singles.
his name, he's making it hot, you know.
Yes. So that when nobody made money, the thing that I say is all of them signed the agreement. Should I be mad, sad for them? Sad to the point where they got beat. About as sad as I feel about somebody who told me Mouse beat him. Yeah, okay. About however bad that is, that's how bad I
But
feel.
what I'm
I don't
saying,
really feel
if,
bad.
what I'm saying, if Mouse beats somebody in 2025, do you feel like, bro? I mean, if anybody, Puffy beat somebody today, you like, bro, you don't know better than that. Come on.
Yeah. But see, that's funny. But he could beat somebody. He just beat dude out the Love Project. His
Wait a
last
minute.
album,
Yeah,
that
he really
producer.
did. He really did beat him out there. Hey, look. Hey, look. Hey, look. Hey, come on, Fat Tommy. Look, Fat Tommy. If the man ain't pays you, you wake up in the bed sore, you still gonna beat that? Like I would say this. He has some of the loyal people around him because, first of all, you still gonna work there?
Well,
You
um,
know, I got people that quit the job all the time for little or nothing. Like overtime, I'm out.
you know what? No, I know people that quit because they came to work late, and the dude yelled at them for coming late. And he said, "Man, forget that. I don't need this job." Okay, he was late. He
Right.
said, "Yo, why you gotta come in at 20 minutes after? We gotta punch in at 9 o'clock." And
So
you get mad at
you
him.
lay in the bed sore behind with the president of the company or the guy you making the music with, and you don't quit. When I know people that quit for little nothing, it's a snow day. I'm not coming. I quit. Like,
Okay, wait a minute. Let me just stir the, the pot slightly. You promised this money and you need it, right? You need the money and you already sore. You already invested in it. If you leave now, you get nothing.
you just
So
sore.
you leave now
You're sore
sore and
loser.
broke. You know what? It reminds me of I heard Paul Mooney say this. He said his grandma said, uh, 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 oh, I can't even say that on here. And
Hey,
and and,
listen, we're
and an
not. I'm
empty
not.
purse don't match.
Listen, we're not trying to make light of sexual assault. All I'm saying is that listen, they feed this monster by sticking around. You just got. If you're the talent, know you're the talent and walk away. Take your stuff away. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the
You're the
thing. This,
talent.
this is what, and this is where but this is
Well,
what
that's
I
why I'm doing. That's why I'm not at certain places because I was quick to say I'm out of here. That don't even sound right. Bye,
right.
peace.
But see, the people that matriculate to these levels either are this truly talented or not talented at all. Because the ones that aren't not at all, but those
Yeah,
people that did this, they want fame, and the only way they're gonna make it, if you go back and start listening. I mean, listen to Total. They wasn't the best singers out there, but they put them. Look how far Total got.
yeah,
I mean, if you think about how far
yeah.
Total got, and and if you go and listen to a group called Faja, them girls could outsing Total. They was on Warner Brothers, but guess what they wouldn't do? Take off their clothes. They wanted to be clothed. They wasn't doing that. They just wanted to sing. They was
Yeah.
all fine. They just wanted to sing. They ain't want no sexually explicit videos. When in the 90s, that's what was selling. Like pretty much if you was gonna be, you had to be extremely well, I guess Erica Badu kind of said, no, you don't. She probably just said, you know what? No, you don't, because I didn't. They did. I didn't. So unless you was Erica Badu, who
I mean,
was
Erica Badu do a little sexual thing, but she do it her way, right?
right, but it holds true. She's extremely talented. Remember, I said you either have to be extremely talented because at that point, the ones that's extremely talented know it. Like Erica
Right.
Badu already has some self-worth. Andre
You
3000,
you
look,
think Alicia Keys will walk to get some cheesecake? Do you think Alicia Keys? I can play the piano. You think I'm gonna walk to get some cheesecake?
I don't think she would walk to get cheese. You know, I thought that was crazy when he did that. And if they wasn't paying me to be on the show, I wouldn't have came back to that
Right.
show. I'd have been like, man, I ain't
Hmm.
doing this because
See how it was nice.
no one never made it out of the show.
See,
If you look at making of the band,
see,
none of them are stars. It ain't never worked.
see.
All he did was well, first he humiliated people and he was on a power trip. And somehow something happens in all these people's lives that get them on drugs. Michael Jackson, it was when his hair caught on fire. Puff, now all of a sudden he on Percocets, and they once they get to, and I hate to say that but literally from everything I read from FBI, if you were to look up the FBI files on Tupac and Easy E and found out that the Jewish Defense League would um, extort me. They would call me and tell me have death threats and do some attacks, and then call me up and tell me they got the best security they can end all that. And then I hired them as security. And according to the FBI files, they was getting Easy E and Tupac in the 90s for 50,000 a month to be their
Boy,
security for something that the FBI knew they did. Like it's the old school pimp stuff. They called them up and threatened them, and then said, "Yo, I can take care of you, man. I got the security agency. We end all that." And then you get all these Jewish security people, and they bring you in the fold. They
they're
say
shaking
they
you
are
down. It's the
yes,
shakedown. The industry
it's the
shake.
shakedown.
All right, Fat Tommy. Appreciate you, bro.
All righty,
Peace.
peace.
We out.